morning, everyone, and welcome to Tuesdays with Tabitha, season 2 of Tuesdays with Tabitha. My name is Tabitha Liburd, and I am an attorney, HR manager, and a conflict management strategist. And I help professionals go from swords to words in their relationships, in their systems, and workflows with ease to bridge the gap between issues and outcomes and to create a peaceful workplace. Today, I would like to welcome you to season 2 of Tuesdays with Tabitha. This is our first episode, and Tuesdays with Tabitha is a weekly live show that will help you to resolve conflict in your workplace, in your team, and in any other spaces that you're in. So, I am your host, and today we are talking about the 5 causes of confusion in conflict situations. So, if you are sometimes in conflict situations and you tend to get confused, this is what we're going to talk about today. If you're feeling confused during conflict, today I will give you 5 causes for confusion in those situations. Now, I have a question for you. Does conflict sometimes leave you feeling confused and irritable? Many times we are in our workplaces, in our places of work, in our places where we lead, whether it is inside of your team as an entrepreneur, inside of your corporate office, or in any of the civic spaces that you work, or sometimes even in your home. There are many, many reactions that you have when conflict leaves you feeling confused and frustrated. Sometimes you freeze up and you're not able to share how you feel in the moment, but then you replay that conflict in your mind and you go through an entire gamut of emotions, wishing you'd said something, wishing you had not said something, or not sharing authentically or engaging with the person in the moment when it's happening. Other reactions to conflict are just being quiet. Some people are really quiet and they just leave the scene and disappear when conflict happens. Sometimes you can struggle too to manage your emotions so that you're engaged but not totally engaged in the conflict, or you're engaged in a way that's not productive and not necessarily bringing in the best result, not necessarily getting to the root cause of that conflict, which is what you want to do so that you're able to resolve it, right? And the struggle to manage your emotions is affecting how you feel in the moment, and so it's affecting the outcome of the conflict. Other people in conflict are confused, and so they don't speak up for themselves. They don't put their needs first and advocate for themselves while they're in conflict. And so what happens is that you end up coming out of the situation with a resolution that might not necessarily take care of your own needs in addition to the needs of everyone else. And so if you are someone who doesn't share how you feel in the moment, or you get quiet and you freeze up when there is conflict, or you struggle to manage your emotions in a conflict, or you don't advocate for your needs when everyone else is advocating for theirs, listen in to today's session, grab a pen and paper, and we are going to get to the heart of understanding conflict in the workplace, conflict in all the spaces that you inhabit, looking at examples of conflict in work, and looking at how conflict resolution in the workplace can benefit how you show up inside of your own situations and how you show up in the best way that can help you navigate through those environments. So we understand that dealing with conflict in the workplace can help us feel frustrated. It can leave you feel tired. It can leave you feeling tired. It can leave you second guessing yourself. wondering if what you have done is right, sometimes backtracking on your decision and changing your mind. And sometimes you're just generally irritated and tired. You just want it to be over. You want the situation to be over. You want to give up on it, or you rush through that situation, not necessarily getting to the heart of it and doing what's best in that environment. But most conflicts in the workplace or in other environments can be avoided with a little bit of effort and awareness. If you know what causes conflict at work, and if you know how to avoid them, you can do some conflict resolution in the workplace and significantly improve your relationships and your chances of resolution in the workplace. And you can do this by bringing parties to the table to start an effective discussion and to take them through the situation in a way that keeps everyone engaged and keeps everyone with you, and people are not in the room but checked out mentally. So, what causes conflict in these situations? And what causes confusion in conflict situations? Well, the first cause of confusion in conflict situations is when we don't have awareness. So, lack of awareness, meaning that you don't know what conflict is. And when you don't know what it is, it causes so many misunderstandings. It, it helps you to check in with yourself and know what conflict is so that you don't get drained and depressed emotionally. You don't check out of situations. You don't feel the energy leave your body as you're sitting in the room and wishing that you could be somewhere else, right? The awareness of what conflict is helps you to understand and removes the confusion, because when you know what it is, then you know how to deal with it. Knowing what conflict is and having the awareness of what it can do, the benefits of conflict, and the deterrence can help you to show up with less confusion. So, if you want to understand what it is, and if you want a handy dandy definition of what conflict is, shoot me a DM or post in the comments, and I am going to put a definition for you that will help to remove confusion, because you will know, yes, this is conflict. I need to engage, or nah, this is not conflict. This can take care of itself. Now, the second cause of confusion in conflict situations is lack of access. So, lack of access to resources for dealing with conflict can cause confusion. If you don't have access to tangible resources that will help you deal with conflict, you end up asking yourself, well, why do I get angry and frustrated so easily? Well, what are these tangible resources that will help us deal with conflict and help remove confusion from conflict situations? Well, one of the tangible resources is money. Access to tangible resources like money will help you able to will help you be able to afford training that you need to move you over the edge, move the needle over the edge, and help you to be able to embody what conflict resolution looks like. So, access to tangible resource of money is going to help remove confusion, because you're going to be able to understand what it is, you're going to be able to be trained and to know how to deal with conflict. Another tangible resource that you need access to remove confusion in conflict situations is knowing where and how to find resources. And if you'd like more information on that, feel free to join our Facebook group because I do post resources in there and it's going to be able to guide you towards finding ways to deal with conflict. That is a space where you can say what you need, and I could be able to provide resources to you that are free that will help you to overcome the lack of access to information to remove confusion about conflict. Now, the third cause of confusion in conflict situations is access to the intangible resources that will help you deal with conflict. So, how do you overcome this conflict without feeling frustrated? Well, an intangible resource that you can give yourself is resilience, because resilience will help you overcome that frustration. Resilience is going to help you to be able to embrace connecting with people, embrace connecting with situations, and embrace sometimes just showing up in spaces that you may not have wanted to be in. Also, another intangible resource that will help you is time. Just giving yourself the time to think about what is needed to overcome conflict. Giving yourself the time to go through an inventory of the resources you have, tangible resources like money or training, intangible resources like resilience, like how you feel, figuring out when you need self-care and giving yourself the time to actually take care of yourself in the situation, just to rest and just to be able to show up better in conflict situations. So the intangible resources you can access will help you build resilience and take the time out to deal with conflict. The fourth cause of confusion in conflict situations is communication. Many times we wonder, why does conflict stress me out this much? And it might just be that you may not know what to say or when to say it. You may not know what to say in conflict. You may not know how to approach it. You may not be able to articulate the words, and that is indeed a cause for a cause for confusion in conflict situations. And what I like to do is to suggest that you take a three-step approach. First, you do a check-in internally. Am I able to deal with this now? If the answer is no, you schedule a time where you can deal with it when you know how to communicate and you can show up and communicate well in conflict. The second step, if your answer is yes and you can deal with the conflict right away, then you want to take a look at the situation, but mentally remove yourself from it. So put a little bit of mental distance between yourself and the situation in conflict. And when you do that, the third step would be to take a 360 view. Look at everything, look at all the players, and then you would have gathered enough information to be able to communicate effectively in conflict. If you would like to hear a little bit more about that, send me a DM and I'd be happy to share that information with you. Or you can just ask in the comments and I'm going to be happy to send you a link to a resource. And the fifth cause of confusion in conflict situations is not understanding the internal issues that are at play in your organization, in your business, or on your team. Well, what are those internal issues that could help you handle stress at work? One of them is having a defined workplace structure. And some people call it an organizational chart, but it could simply be understanding the roles and who does what. That will certainly be helpful in removing confusion from conflict situations. And I would like to say that it could actually prevent conflict from happening because everyone is clear in their roles, in what they do, and in the processes inside of the organization. Confusion in roles and responsibilities often brings about conflict in the workplaces that we want to be able to diminish and to mitigate. So, that fifth cause of confusion in conflict situations, understanding or not understanding the issues that are at play internally in your organization is really, really important because your organizational culture flows from your leaders. And if it's not clearly defined, or if it's not healthy in all the areas of diversity, inclusion, belonging, and equity, you and sometimes your team also can feel confused and frustrated. But friends, you don't have to feel confused and frustrated by workplace conflict. This is not your portion in life. There are many, many ways that we can work on it together. And so if this live stream speaks to you, and if this is something that you are struggling with, if you're feeling confused in conflict situations because you don't know what conflict is, because you don't have access to resources, because you don't have access to training, because you are not able to communicate in conflict, or because there are internal uh, things in the structure of your work environment that need to be tweaked, reach out to me. Send a DM, drop a comment in our live stream, or send me an email, and I am going to be happy to work with you to get you through that confusion caused by conflict and put you on the path to a peaceful and productive workplace. Now, I hope this live stream has been helpful to you. I hope that you have enjoyed what you've heard. If you'd like to know more, you can download our ebook at marshalldukeLLC.com, and you'll be able to get 31 conflict resolution tips and strategies that can help you through workplace conflict. If you want to work a little bit on removing that confusion, feel free to join us inside of our Facebook group, Your Resolution Room, where we chat, we engage, and we work together through conflict situations. I hope you've enjoyed season 2, episode 1 of our conflict resolution live stream. Feel free to touch base with us for any other of your needs. And I'll see you next week on the other live stream. Take care so much and have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye now.